Ladies and gentlemen, we are live at Pro Football Central. We have a fantastic draft edition. We have two fantastic draft experts on live with us. We have Shane Hallam from NFL Draft Countdown on the right, and on the left from drafttech.com. Scott, how do you have your last name said, Scott? How do you pronounce it? Jurassic. Carasik. I just want to make sure I didn't mispronounce that. I should have asked that right away. The Kansas City Chiefs have the cards right now, Scott. There's been talk of them holding court with that first overall pick. Who do you think the Chiefs will draft and why? That's for Scott. How about that, Shane? Do you think, in your opinion, that the Chiefs are going to draft a quarterback? Mm-hmm. So I saw like a face you gave about Scott. I saw a face you gave about like Geno Smith and Alex Smith. Can they have like two like Smiths in the same house? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, like the whole thing about like Geno Smith, do you think that, and I'm gonna ask this for Shane first, that this draft has a lot of pressure after what happened with Luck and RG3, that everyone's expecting this draft to have two Pro Bowl quarterbacks first and out, or no, Shane? Now, look, the question for Scott is this: Tyler Wilson, is he a clear cut number two after like Geno Smith, or is there possibility of someone like Barkley coming up out of the blue and like becoming that like number two like quarterback in this draft? Okay. Mm-hmm. So Shane, you have Barkley going to the Bills at number eight. So you obviously have a difference of opinion with him as well, right? With Scott. So how about the Jaguars? A lot of draft mock, a lot of mock drafts. Tyler Wilson going to the Jaguars. Your mock drafts don't have that. Why is that, Shane? First off. How about you, Scott? It honestly seems like this draft has pass rushers, but no one to catch the ball. It seems like the draft class. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So Shane. Mm-hmm. So Shane, who do you have as far as a wideout has the best wideout, bar none, in this draft, if there is one? Exactly. How about the Raiders? A lot of talk about the Raiders. I honestly think the Raiders every single year has been the hardest pick to really guess. Because when you think they're going to do something, you're completely sold on it. They get Darius Hayward Bay or someone like that to just surprise everybody. Scott, who do you have going to the Raiders and why? Mm-hmm. 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 So Shane, you have them going defensive end. What you have them going defensive end? Do you think someone like Tyler Wilson is on their board, has a number two or number three possibility, or are they going for the end position? Mm-hmm. Scott Carasik, uh, drafttech.com. You're not a fan of LSU, are you? Okay. Is he overrated? Is he more overrated than Jarvis Jones? Jarvis Jones or Mingo? How concerned? Mm-hmm. Now, when I said I was going to have you guys on, like Twitter blew up with Jarvis Jones questions. Is he someone who is a mystique that not a lot of teams are worried about the back injury, Scott, or is it something where he went for like USC. USC denied him because of his because his back physical. So he went to like the others. They like passed him, played fantastic well. Is he someone who like reminds you of like a Javon Curse, or someone who maybe someone like Aaron Mabin who came out of college with a lot of um, like brass, and he just didn't do well in the league. I like look at him as someone like him because Aaron Mabin was a top 10 draft pick, Penn State, huge player, jacked, quickness, turned into a bust. He's on his third team right now. Now, if I'm an NFL team, Scott, would I be concerned about Jarvis Jones? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, Shane from NFLDraftCountdown.com. What do you think about like Jarvis Jones overall? Mm-hmm. 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 Right. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's gonna be a team out there who's gonna leak some false information about the back in hopes of getting him in the draft. Every year there's some team out there who throws a curveball for everyone else to look on and be like, oh, is this true? To the point where he might fall. And I think out of everybody in this draft who should be a top 10, I think Jarvis Jones, because of this back ailment, true or not, he might be the one to do like the Aaron Rodgers and just sit there and wait for his like number to be called. Now, Shane, do you think he will be the one because of this who will fall, or do you think there's a player who you rate top 10 overall, for some reason he's gonna fall? Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. You have Shane. You have the Eagles going with tackle at the fourth overall pick. A lot of people I'm hearing about love Luke Joeckel. They think he's the best player in this draft. Scott, I'm going to pass this off to you first. Do you think Luke Joeckel, number one, will go to the Eagles? Number two, do you think he's the best player overall in this draft? Mm-hmm. 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 Shane, do you think who right now in the league reminds you of Luke Joeckel? Jake Long, maybe? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you agree, Scott? Matt Clough. Yeah, I really think the Yeah, I think the Ravens prove that you not only need to have a good left tackle, but a good right tackle as well to be a Super Bowl winning team. So a team like the Eagles, have a Pro Bowl left tackle. He's gonna heal up pretty soon. I think if they have the left tackle taken care of, the right tackle, whoever is their quarterback in Philadelphia will have an easier job knowing that the left and the right side's protected. Fifth overall pick, Detroit Lions. How important is this draft, knowing how close the Lions were, Shane, to go into the playoffs? Do you think that they have to draft that this pick is the most important pick for them, obviously, because they need to draft someone who can get them back to the playoffs or not? Mm-hmm. 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 Half hour already, and we finally have a debate going there. Scott's like shaking his head. Go ahead, Scott. Will it be Jarvis Jones? Mm-hmm. He's freezing out. Oh, there he goes. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have to side with Shane. They need a backfield. They need a cornerback. Flat out. I look at the Lions and Colts. They threw a last second play, and Andrew Luck knew he was open, and he just went through. And I think a player, there's no number. Can they address it in free agency? Mm-hmm. Maybe Champ Bailey. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. We have How about the Browns? We're looking at linebacker. I'm seeing in everyone's draft. Cleveland Browns. Looking at linebacker. Scott. Who do you have like the Browns going with? Like Jordan? Mm-hmm. So Shane, you have the Browns going with Demontre Moore, linebacker. Do you think he's a better pass rushing option for the Browns? Now we don't have like a ball to predict, but do we think there's going to be an outside team who wants to jump to the top five draft for a player that's not in the top five, meaning a team in number 11, number 8, like maybe like the Bills might jump up to go with Geno Smith? Do we think that there is a team out there who is going to gun for this top five zone to get a top pick? Scott first. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. Shane, what do you think? Feasible. Yeah. It's a lot, yeah. Offensive tackle. Go ahead. Hometown discount. Mm-hmm. So, Shane, no? How about the Arizona Cardinals? I think Shane, by your draft pick, they're going tackle. Does that mean the quarterback is not a concern in the first round for the Arizona Cardinals if they're going with a draft pick like they are? Mm-hmm. What about that, Scott? You agree? Mm-hmm. I have a confession to make. I'm a Bills fan. I'm coming out of the closet now and I'm revealing it. Um, the number eighth overall pick, Scott, drafttech.com has them going corner, and I have a bone to pick with that. They went with a corner last year. They've done the corner first round pick with Leotis McKelvin. They might let him walk. They got a corner last year in Gilmore. Why would Draft Tech think the Bills are going to go cornerback with their eighth overall pick? He's throwing D under the bus right now. Look at that. Okay. Mm-hmm. Shane does. Shane does. Go ahead, Shane. All right, Shane. Matt Barkley, third round pick or eighth overall. What do you think, Shane? What if Nassib falls to the second round? First, first, first few picks of the second round. I wasn't too blown away with the Senior Bowl, Scott. Do you think that someone like Nassib that Everyone thinks it's a clear cut going to Buffalo because of the offensive coordinator and the head coach and everything like that. I think if the Bills pass on him, something's up, and I don't think he has all the mechanics you need to be. I was gonna say Joe Flacco because of ESPN's been like piping how fantastic Mr. Flacco is. Do you think that someone like Ryan will potentially drop to the second round, where the Bills can trade up and to the first or second overall pick in that round to get a Ryan Nassib, or is there a team in the later rounds who would put a flyer on Ryan Nassib? Mm-hmm. 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 How about a team with an early second round pick jumping back into first, a late first round pick to get Ryan Nassib? Mm-hmm. So so if they don't draft Nassib number 8 and they get him later, who do you think the Bills will draft at number 8? Don't say cornerback. They did spend a lot of money on Mark Anderson and Mario Williams. Mark Anderson did get injured, but they got a lot of money already on the two ends. So that's how we did on New England. Yeah. Shane, what do you think about that idea? They did. That's why. That's the problem. That's what I was gonna say. He looks shaky, right? He, I see like Ryan has watching him at the Senior Bowl on TV. People put their hands in his face and he got rattled. And you put him in the East with Wilfork and Wake, they'll eat him alive. Those two love the rush to passer, and if they can rattle someone like Ryan, very easily. That's why I agree. I think he had an opportunity to shine, and I don't think he grabbed that brass ring to shine. So there's a lot of players out there. So you think he's overrated, Scott? You think Barkley's overrated, right? You think Ryan? Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm. JP Losman. Shane knows what that is. Trent Edwards. Trent, Trent Edwards, JP Losman, it's a pattern. It's a pattern for Buffalo. So whenever you think of, well, Fitzpatrick was traded, but he paid him. They paid him 62 million. Yeah, he's hiding the money under his bed right now because they're looking to already restructure. Not even a year into his deal, they want to restructure. You know, how much of a shock would it be for the Bills to reach for a wide receiver if they don't get someone like Dwayne Bowe, who they are reportedly in love with Dwayne Bowe, if he passes to potentially not be tagged. I think the Bills will make a strong push at Dwayne Bowe. I talked to several people who are involved in the whole situation, and the Bills love Dwayne Bowe. Do you think the Bills would? It's way too much of a reach for them to get a receiver at the eighth overall pick. Patterson. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ryan Fitzpatrick, like Johnson, same situation. Like Stevie Johnson, 1,000 yards, 2 3 seasons, and he's good friends with the Ryan, but he's starting to realize that Ryan is not getting it done. It honestly seems like this draft is the best draft with the names. You got like Mingo and Locker and Jocker and Ezekiel Ansah. That's one of those names that you got to look at, and he's got to be a badass. First of all, got to be a badass. Shane, you have him going to the Jets at number 9. They cut Bart Scott. They cut Calvin Pace, so they're already letting it be known that they're cleaning house and bringing in some, brand new talent. You have him going to the Jets. Why? So Shane, does he remind you of Brian Arakpo? a little bit with the way he played with his arm length and how much he tried to like attack the ball or no? Yeah. Scott from Draft Tech is fuming over there. Okay. Minus the Subway endorsement. Okay. Shane, go. Now, if the Giants release Justin Tuck, which is rumored, which is heavily rumored, if he doesn't change his deal, why don't the Jets just get Justin Tuck if they're looking for someone like Justin Tuck? Idea, you know? If he's local, he stays local. Mm-hmm. We're gonna wrap up the 10th overall pick. Tennessee Titans. They are they set at quarterback, or do we have a little question mark there, Scott? With Hasselbeck, obviously is not the answer. Shane, what do you think about Jake Locker? Do you think a big reason because of Jake is because the wide receiver position hasn't really been solid? They have a receiver in Britt who can't be quiet and gets himself in trouble all the time. Why aren't the Titans targeting a wide receiver? Mm-hmm. Is that because of the whole Hainsworth situation when they had Hainsworth in his prime? He stopped the run, and Tennessee did well when someone like Hainsworth was there. They haven't had someone like Hainsworth ever since he left. Like, correct? Jones, Jason Jones. Mm-hmm. Struggling, you mean, right? You mean like struggling. Okay. I didn't want to send any mixed signals when you did that, you know. Right. And they get ran down the throat by Jones Drew and, you know. Mm-hmm. Who, so perfect for that pick. Draft Tech has him going safety. Kenny Vaccaro. Do you agree with that pick? Kenny Vaccaro? Vaccaro? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So Shane, you have them going tackle. Is that something because they need someone to anchor that line, as you were saying earlier? Scott, what do you think about that? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How's his speed though? Is he someone that's quick, fast off the snap? That's the thing that I've been hearing about him. I've been hearing the one thing is his burst is incredible. You know, someone exactly. I was just gonna say Sue. Sue. So here's my question. We here at PFC we do draft rookie blogs. I don't know if y'all have seen it yet. We have a lot of like rookies blogging about their journey going into the league. Not all well-known players. Some of them who will be at the combine, who will work their way up. Who do you think right now that's not on the radar, who is going to quickly jump into the radar, Shane, and become maybe a second round pick? Hell, maybe a first round, maybe a late first round pick that will cause Berman to be like, who did they just draft? And like look at the paper and like have to like figure out where this person came from. You know, every year they do it. Every year there's like someone drafted who everyone scratches their head and says, really? Who will that be, Shane? Or second. Good choice. Second. Okay. Shane, let me ask you this question about Gronk. You know, like Gronk, when he went to the Patriots, did you all see him going first round to the Patriots, or did you think he was going to like Buffalo, where he's from, or did he come out of like nowhere? Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, Scott, who do we got for names that are under the radar that we really haven't heard about yet that you think will be a late first, maybe early, like pick in the following round? Okay. Mm-hmm. We've had a draft discussion and Monte Teo has not been discussed. Is that a record? I think that's a record, right? Uh, we gotten a lot of Twitter questions about the Bears and the Broncos being interested in him greatly. Scott, do you think he's a first round pick before this? I mean, 113 tackles last year, had 128 the previous year. He got some good picks, choked against Alabama, choked with falling in love with someone who didn't exist, you know. Mm-hmm. 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 Shane, you have him going to 27, correct? Houston? How how important is his combine? I think out of everyone going into the combine, he's got pressure with everything that's gone on with him, and they asked the question: is his mind on football? He can not be on Twitter anymore. That doesn't mean his focus is on the football. How important is it, and is there a possibility that he can jump up in the first round by having a great combine? Shane. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, Scott. How do we find you on Twitter, Scott? Shane, how do we find you on Twitter? Shane Hallam, NFL Draft Countdown.com. Scott Carasik. I said it right now, right? Carasik? Carasik. I said Carasik thing again. Carasik drafttech.com. That is TEK.com. Thank you guys so much for joining us here at PFC Radio. I hope we do it again real soon.